My life and my home, my name is Daniel Carter, and I am 34 years old. For a very long time, my life followed a very clear and steady path that I had built for myself with a lot of hard work. I worked as a lead designer at a busy, bustling office right in the heart of the city. My days were spent sketching out big ideas and helping to create beautiful buildings that families would one day call home. I lived in a very quiet, friendly neighborhood just on the edge of Chicago, where the trees lined the streets and neighbors always waved to one another. My wife, Melissa, was 32 years old. To me, she was truly beautiful and always seemed to have so much natural, positive energy. She was a special kind of person who could walk into a crowded room and instantly make every single person there feel a little bit happier just with her bright, warm smile. We had been married for 6 long years. At least, for most of that time, I truly believed in my heart that we were very happy together. Looking back now, I can see that the warning signs were always right in front of me, but I chose to look the other way because I loved her so much. There were so many late nights where she was busy texting someone on her phone. She always had constant stories about having to work late at the office to finish a project. I noticed the way she would smile at her phone screen, but then she would quickly hide the screen or flip the phone over whenever I walked into the room. The night everything changed one particular Friday evening, I came home from work feeling extra thoughtful and loving. I was carrying a bag of her favorite warm takeout food, which was beef and broccoli that smelled like ginger, and a big bunch of fresh, colorful flowers, because I really wanted to surprise her and make her day a little better. When I walked in, she was not doing much of anything. She was just sitting very quietly on the couch with her arms folded tightly across her chest. "Daniel, we really need to talk," she said. Those few words hit me much harder than anything else ever could. Melissa looked away from me and let out a very long, heavy sigh that seemed to fill the whole room. "Daniel, I think I need to take a break from our marriage." I let out a little laugh because I was so nervous and my heart was racing. A break? I did not even understand what that was supposed to mean for a husband and a wife. She would not even look me in the eyes. She just said she needed some space so she could go find herself. Find yourself? I really could not stand to hear those words. I asked her point blank if there was another person involved in this. "No," she replied, but she said way too fast for it to be true. Then the whole room went completely silent. I just stood there in our living room staring at her for what felt like a lifetime. I asked how long this break would last. I did not know what to think. "Maybe just a few weeks," she suggested. It felt like someone had reached out and ripped a giant, painful hole right through the middle of my chest. I wanted to stay there and argue with her. I wanted her to explain things and tell me why our life was falling apart. But when I looked at her face, I saw something that hurt even more than if she had been angry at me. I saw a look of deep, heavy guilt. The empty house and the new path the very next morning. Things moved very fast. She packed up 2 large suitcases and just walked away from our home. 6 long years of being married and building a life were suddenly reduced to just 2 bags sitting by the front door. The house felt cold and empty the very second she left. For that first week, I could hardly sleep at all. I stayed up late every night, constantly checking my phone, hoping to see a little message or a call from her, but nothing ever came. After a while, I made a big decision for my own health. I decided to stop waiting around. I joined a local gym. I started going for long runs every single morning when the sun came up over the city. I reached out to old friends I had not talked to in years and started seeing them again for coffee. I even said yes when my work partner, Ethan, invited me to go to some meetings to meet new people and try new hobbies like hiking. Little by little, that deep pain in my heart started to change into something I did not expect. I started to feel a sense of peace that I had not felt in a long time. 3 weeks later, I looked like a different man because I was taking care of myself. But more importantly, I actually felt like a different person on the inside. An unexpected visitor then, another Friday evening came along. A loud, sharp knock sounded at my front door. When I opened it, I almost dropped the cup of coffee I was holding. Melissa was standing there on the porch, but she looked completely different than the last time I saw her. Her hair was a mess and unbrushed. Her eyes were very red, puffy, and looked so tired, like she had spent many days and nights crying. Without saying a single word to me, she suddenly threw her arms around me. "Daniel," she whispered. I just stood there, completely frozen. "I made a huge mistake," she said softly. I slowly stepped back so I could look at her face clearly. I asked her what had happened during those 3 weeks. Tears started running down her cheeks. She told me that the person she thought really cared about her had lied to her. The room went quiet again. My heart stopped for a second as I processed what she was saying. I said, "So there really was someone else." I looked at her, unable to believe it. She had told me there was no one else. She put her head down. She said she did not want to hurt me. But the truth was out now. I could not believe what I was hearing. While I had been sitting alone in an empty house, wondering why our marriage broke, she had already been running towards someone else. She cried and said he promised they would be together. But then his wife found out about them, and he ended everything immediately. I felt a lot of anger growing inside me. It was not just because she cheated or lied. It was because I realized something much worse. I was never her first choice for a husband. I was just her backup plan for when things went wrong with someone else. A final decision, Melissa reached out and grabbed my hands, begging me for another chance to make things right. I looked at her for a moment, the woman I once would have done anything for. Then I saw myself in the mirror hanging on the wall behind her. 3 weeks ago, I would have begged her to stay, but that man was gone. I gently took my hands back from hers. I told her that for 3 weeks, I thought I lost the love of my life. She cried even harder when I said that. Then I told her that I actually did not lose anything at all. I finally saw who she really was as a person. All the color left her face. She begged me again, but I said no. I opened the door wide. I did not open it to let her in, but to let her leave my life for good. As she stood there crying, I quietly closed the door. I realized that sometimes the best way to get back at someone is not to hurt them. It is simply becoming the kind of person they can never have in their life again.